little known fact that you probably already know if you're watching this video. We'll come back to that. In the early days, the vehicle's throttle was manipulated at first by a lever, but then of course a pedal. In both versions, a real physical wire connected the pedal or lever to the throttle under the hood. This worked really well for a long time, and I have a feeling most people still believe this to be the case. I'll reveal the truth shortly. Aside from physical wear, one downside of this cable connection is you get what you set, as in whatever the preset throttle response is what it'll always be. You probably noticed that modern vehicles have features like different modes for eco and sport driving. They have traction control, crawl control in the 4x4s. What makes this all possible is computers, and I don't mean like the laptop that you work on, but the ECM. The ECM controls everything your engine does. We don't need to get too into detail with that. Because cars are computer controlled, your gas pedal isn't pulling a cable anymore. It's actually more like a trigger on a video game remote. It's all electric, and it has been for a while now, with the first ETC being developed and released in the mid-late 80s, finally ditching the last cable in the early 2000s. This came with a lot of benefits, some of which I just mentioned, but it also came with some drawbacks. And if you know the automotive world, you know that anything new and limiting has to be reverse engineered, customized, opened up for enthusiasts to regain control. And while I did say you get what you set, you can always go under your hood and adjust the response on older vehicles. Now, most people wouldn't care much about this, but along with the benefits of electronic throttle control, or ETC, also it limits customization and tuning, with the computer solely choosing how to translate your foot on the pedal. It leaves a lot to be desired for people who want the power now, or who like to, have a more slow and easy acceleration. I'm sure you've gotten into someone else's car before and their gas pedal feels wildly different. Their computer was programmed differently. That's where the sponsor of this video comes in. As I mentioned, anything that limits a car and truck enthusiast will eventually be modified. Always has, always will. WindBooster does exactly that and actually addresses the issues inherited by the electric throttle control. It's amazing how easy it was to install, and I'm about to show you how I installed it on my 4th gen 4Runner. And also note that the install is actually basically the same on any vehicle. Just need to get the kit that fits your pedal, because it plugs right into your pedal. If you would hit the subscribe, like, and as always, leave a comment with any questions you have. I'm always open to critiques, and best of all, leave some encouragement. I slave on these videos because I have a dream of doing this full time, so encouraging words help drive me more than you know. And if you're interested in customizing your throttle response, check out my affiliate link below. Back to the install. When you first open the box, you'll find the control panel, a small and elegant little display. Below that is the cables and control module. The directions help you get started, but they aren't exactly the most detailed, so this video should help. One side plugs directly into your gas pedal, and the other side plugs into your factory harness. So it goes right in between your factory harness and gas pedal. The cable came with this lightning style connector that runs to your control panel. In short, you can't plug anything into the wrong spot, but also don't plug that lightning cable into your iPhone. I apologize for the poor camera angle here. It's a really tight fit getting the camera and myself under the dash of my 4Runner. But once you're down there, simply unplug the OEM cable from the pedal and plug in the WindBooster into the pedal and OEM cable. 2 zip ties are included with the kit, which might be enough for you, but it's important to make sure this is super secure. It's important to me anyway. Don't want this thing like falling down onto your gas pedal while you're driving. So I grabbed a few more zip ties from the garage. Link below if you need some. Next is to run the lightning plug cable to the display. The center console trim is easy to remove. Just pull, unplug, and lift away. Start running the cable to where you want to mount the panel. I chose to mount mine in my center console storage compartment. Keeps things kind of stock looking on the outside and prevents accidental mode changes on the unit. I was able to make an easy access port for the cable by modifying this blank insert. My knife alone wasn't enough, so I superheated it with my propane torch. Actually, MAP gas burns a little hotter. And the hot blade sliced through the plastic like it was warm butter. So I ran the cable through the hole, plugged in the display control panel, and stuck it on the ledge where the coin holder mounts. I don't know about you, but the coin organizer is pretty useless for me, so I just took it off. I always like to wrap up any extra wires so that nothing can wiggle out of place, loosen, or dip down by the gas pedal. So zip ties are your best friend. Then I snapped the console trim back on, switched my key to the on position, and immediately the control panel display came on. There's different modes that are labeled very clearly, like race, sport, sport plus, eco, limited slip. I'm not sure exactly how that one works, but you can also adjust the amount of influence each mode has from levels 0 to 9. Be sure to download the WindBooster app. You'll need the device ID for authentication. Just hold down the 2 buttons on your control panel to get the ID. On the app, you can actually disable the throttle completely as like a theft prevention. In locked mode, the vehicle will start, but the gas pedal will do literally nothing. It's pretty cool. Before I get into the driving and the review of how this thing works, I've been using it for about a week now. Let's just quickly talk about the setup. So after it's all wired, I've got it mounted in here. The button on the left is mode, button on the right is S. You hit the mode to cycle between normal, sport, sport plus, race, drag, intelligent auto, valet, and anti-slip, and then back to normal, or econ, and then back to normal. So it's pretty simple, and then for each one you hit S, and that basically adjusts how much the setting is actually affecting your driving and your pedal. My head unit's connected to the OBD, and I've got gauge options on here. So the pedal throttle percentage is shown on here. So what I'll do is, with the engine off, I'll just floor it, and it'll tell us what percentage throttle the computer is receiving. So full throttle, we're at 74% throttle. So normal, sport, sport plus, race, drag. And so full throttle isn't exactly what we're looking for. What we're looking for is how quickly we get to full throttle. But we're just checking out full throttle right now, flooring it. Valet. Okay, so valet, this is pretty cool. So you know someone's not going to be going for a joyride. It limits the max throttle, max pedal to 37%. So someone's not going to be going nuts at the valet. Let's go anti-slip, 16%. So that's interesting, because I guess if you're trying not to slip, if you're crawling, you don't exactly want full throttle. But economy, our maximum is 65% throttle. So here, we'll go back to normal. I'm going to show you, I'm going to get another camera angle down here. All right, so right now I've got you down on got the footage on my foot. We're at 15%, 20%, 40%, and then we get to 65, and then it hangs out. So I have not moved very far. I have not moved my feet very far. There's 65. I've got all this pedal left, and then the rest of the way. See all that pedal left. So it's interesting in drag mode. You get to 65% throttle real quick. A whole bunch of nothing happens, and then only at the very end, boom, now we're going up to 73%, 74%. Economy, we're starting at 15%, 30, 40, 50, 60, floored it. So economy has been my favorite so far. We'll talk about that in a second. And then normal, 20, 30. So normal is definitely faster, going up faster than economy. But still fairly consistent. It just is a quicker start. All right, so now that we know what all those numbers are, we'll hit the road. So I'm in normal. I don't really need to talk much about what normal feels like. I mean, I feel like in this 4Runner, the first little bit of throttle has always felt a little too jumpy. So I've actually been driving with this thing for a few days now, and I honestly, my favorite is the economy mode set to 5. So what you need to do, depending on your vehicle, do not follow my lead and make adjustments while you're driving. So do not condone that. So economy set to number 5, I've noticed is kind of the best, easy start, because the 4Runner is kind of a gas guzzler, nothing like my old Chevys, but it likes to drink the gas. So what I've noticed is if you set the economy mode too high, it'll do kind of a lot of nothing for a little while, and then suddenly jump up, to a higher throttle. So you got to kind of play with this stuff and figure out, what you can dial in exactly what works best for your vehicle, and it's going to be different likely in every vehicle. I don't know how it's going to react in something like a BMW, something that's a little more sporty, or just everything's tuned different. So economy mode is the nice, slow and easy start. It's probably going to be good for when I go off-roading and I'm not trying to spin my tires immediately. What I can say is if I just dangerously sneak this thing into drag mode, I just barely push the pedal and I'm like gunning it. So not something you want to do normally. Let's put it in Valet. Okay, so you can still drive in Valet, but it's definitely, you're not going very fast. So this is kind of a quick thing that you can figure out exactly what you like, how you like it, because I think we all know what our driving habits are. At least I do. That's interesting. I don't know what this anti-slip thing is, because it basically does 0. Anti-slip, no good. Don't want to do that. So I don't know how anti-slip is going to work on other vehicles, but it basically is 0 throttle, or it's no better than an idle. So I'm not exactly sure how that translates in other areas, but that's kind of pointless for me. If I put it in intelligent auto mode, the light just turned green for me, so give me 1 minute and I'll, oof. Okay. Intelligent auto is off to a rough start. That felt kind of race-like for a moment there. So if I just go really slow. Okay, I'm not sure about this auto mode. I'm not sure if it's something that adapts as you go. Oof. Okay, intelligent auto, like, it kind of feels like it's stepping. Like we're going 20, 30, 40, 50. And it gets to that like 40% throttle mark really quick. I like to say nice things, but I like to be honest too. Whoa! I'm not pushing the pedal down very much, and it's really going. So this intelligent auto, and we'll just see if it adapts. Oh, go straight. Oh, this auto mode is really aggressive. I don't know about that. We'll let it sit a little longer in intelligent auto, and I'll try and see if I can train it to slow down a little bit, or just kind of go easy. It just seems really quick to make adjustments. It doesn't seem like a smooth transition on intelligent auto. That said, I totally love the economy mode on level 5. Anything higher than level 5 on the economy mode, and it's a little too slow, kind of nothing happens for the first bit of pedal press, and then it kind of suddenly jumps. There's a big step if the economy mode is set too high. So economy on 5, that alone makes this thing worth it for me, because I like slow and easy starts, or at least consistent all the way through. And I always felt like this 4Runner was a little too quick to jump on the throttle, which is a little annoying when you're off-road and you're trying not to spin your tires. Sometimes that's what you want, but that's the kind of the beauty of this, because now you can make those types of adjustments on the fly. Here we'll get on to another stretch. We're still on intelligent auto. Oh, maybe it is kind of feeling my driving habits, because it doesn't seem to be as intense right now. I'm in intelligent auto, and it's nowhere near as aggressive as it was when I first set it on intelligent auto. With all that said, I feel like the intelligent mode is actually doing pretty good now. It really did, I feel like it noticed that I was doing a lot more soft starts. I was holding back. And so it's kind of spreading that initial throttle out over a longer pedal press, if that makes sense. It's kind of realizing that I don't want to be going fast because I'm hanging out kind of slow. And so I can only assume that means if I were to start gunning it constantly, that it would learn that I want to be gunning it all the time. Which is exactly how it's advertised, and seems like that's exactly how it's working. So all in all, this is actually a pretty cool product. I was a little skeptical. WindBooster reached out to me, and I sometimes feel like something's going to be kind of gimmicky. What I will say is the anti-slip mode seems to be completely worthless, at least in my 4Runner. It giving 15% throttle, I don't really know what that's good for, because it does nothing for me. It's basically like doing nothing. But if I were to want to race, I could totally see the benefit of being able to control how much throttle how much pedal the computer thinks you're giving, how much pedal the computer is receiving. It basically makes it like a new car where you've got those different sport buttons. Like on Micah's Prius, which is a little silly for a Prius to have a sport button, but it really does make a difference in the response. And it's kind of like, this is a affordable way, without doing crazy other things to your vehicle or reprogramming a computer. This was a pretty simple plug and play and pretty affordable way to customize your throttle response. So it's not something I thought I really needed, but now that I have it, kind of stoked I have it. So the final word, this thing's actually really cool. The Intelligent Auto has adapted to my foot in about 5 minutes. It's doing exactly what I want it to be doing, and it seems to have trained itself really nicely. The economy mode set to level 5. I don't know, we'll see how the Intelligent Auto does. I might not need to go back to that economy mode. And obviously if I feel like I'm late for a video shoot and I need to get somewhere quick, I can put it in drag mode, and very little pedal will basically floor it immediately. The algorithm thinks you're gonna like this video right here, so check it out. Thank you all so much for watching. See you on the next one.